The biggest benefits for TMS that I've seen come out of TMS for me personally is the fact that my medication is reduced almost down to nothing. It's truly, if you're in that situation where you're going through from medication to medication and dosage to dosage, and you feel like you're being yanked around, the fact that I am on almost no medication right now, and the goal is by the time I'm done, I'll be completely off of it. It seems like a miracle, truly. So the very beginning of my journey, I would say, started about 18 years ago when my daughter was born. So she had a very traumatic birth. She had open heart surgery, which was very scary. She was the smallest baby to receive that type of surgery, to actually live through the surgery. However, it wasn't until years later that I started realizing depression and anxiety being a part of my daily life. And I started looking at the other people around me and seeing how they were living their lives, especially other young moms. And I realized what I was experiencing wasn't quite normal. Even though I had a daughter with special needs, my ability to handle the small challenges of life was so, it just seemed so much harder for me. And it all had anxiety attached to it. Not just the daily tasks were difficult. It was my ability to handle it emotionally. And it had been so many years after my daughter was born that I thought the two possibly couldn't be connected. And sure enough, as I started looking for help, I realized that it was truly connected, and that I was able to have a good clarity of thought going through that traumatic time because my body was saving it for later. And so then here we started our journey. So I started reaching out for help. I had a couple of anxiety attacks, which were terrifying. I was scared that I would have another one while I was taking care of my small children. And I realized I couldn't put it to the side anymore. I had to address it, which was the first obstacle I had to get over, was just reaching out and looking for the help. I found TMS by looking at actually a video similar to this one, probably, seeing a lady who had struggled and seeing her actually talk about living life without anxiety and depression, which was so foreign to me. I had tried lots of different medications and they all made me feel very different. I could feel a little less stress, a little less anxiety, maybe, or I wasn't as depressed, but I also didn't feel like myself. They always sort of changed me in one way or another. TMS has been the one thing that actually allowed me to fully regain myself. My full personality was back. My full life was back. My husband and even my kids have commented like, "Oh, you're back. You're here," and it was so many years of trying all these medications and trying different dosages and them kind of seeing me struggle through it all and seeing parts of me recede into the background. And it has just brought so much peace to our family. It has given me so much just hope and for the future. It has also set such a great example for my teenagers that when they go through something like this, you can go through it. You can start a journey and you can find hope at the end of it. And for me, TMS was absolutely the hope that I needed to get myself and my life back. It's really fun. It's relaxing. The environment is just very calming, and everybody that I talk to on the phone, which is so rare you can say this, every person, whether I'm talking about my copay, my insurance, if I need to change an appointment, every single person I talk to is so helpful, so kind, they seem to always have a kind word to say, even if I'm just talking about insurance. And I find that also very comforting. It reduces any anxiety that I have about appointments and the stress. It just is a pleasant experience from beginning to end, and has given me my life back. I recommended it to so many friends, people who've come up to me and said, "I see such a difference in you. You know, what's so different? What's going on?" People are usually asking me, "What kind of medicine are you on?" You know, and I'm saying it's not a medicine. It's a way to really marry neurology and psychology together and truly fix a part of your brain that needs a little extra help to help regulate and get yourself back to where you are. And yeah, I've got nothing but good things ahead of me. And there was a time in my life where I thought, I'll never be able to feel happiness again. I'll never feel like I have control over my life. So I just need to wake up, take care of my family, and just go to bed and try to just muddle through life. Like, if I could just muddle through life so I could be there for everyone else, then everyone will be fine. I wasn't thinking, will I be fine? But here, I'm sitting here saying, I've got all of my hope, all of my joy ahead of me. It's really been a miracle for me. The process of TMS is easy. I spoke to Dr. Ventry actually, and told him this is what I'm experiencing. So coming in every day, it is a time commitment, you know, but they work with your schedule here. And so I'm in here, it's every day. I love that it's a short visit. I'm not here for more than 10 minutes. It's not, you know, it's just every day, but a short amount of time. I sit down and we chat while the machine does its thing. And then I go home. It's painless, it's easy, it's easy way to put myself first and to put my mental health first. You're always anxious to see when am I going to see that big improvement? And it's a little different for me. For depression, it took a little longer, maybe 2 weeks. And then once you start seeing the difference, it comes really quickly. For me, it did with depression. Anxiety is like within 3 days. It's really incredible how quickly I've responded to the anxiety side of the treatment. And it is, then you can't wait to come every day. You know, it doesn't seem like a time commitment when you're like, I'm going to feel better. You know, every day that I go, I feel better and better and better. I know consistency is very important. So showing up for as many times a week as possible. If you do that and you make that commitment, it'll happen pretty quickly. At least it has for me. The biggest benefits for TMS that I've seen come out of TMS for me personally is the fact that my medication is reduced almost down to nothing. It's truly, if you're in that situation where you're going through from medication to medication and dosage to dosage, and you feel like you're being yanked around, the fact that I am on almost no medication right now, and the goal is by the time I'm done, I'll be completely off of it. It seems like a miracle, truly. That's the biggest thing, is getting off those medications that didn't make me feel myself. They kept me from having anxiety attack. It's not like there isn't a benefit to them, but wow, what a difference to live your life medication free and mentally totally healthy. It's great. So now, and I think of life post TMS, I am excited. I'm sleeping better, which is just such a huge deal. I sleep better. I'm excited to take on challenges I didn't think I could take on, because it would be too much for me to manage emotionally. Since I've kind of regained myself, I can go back. I'm excited to go back to finish my degree and be able to continue on with those passions. I've had to put that on hold while managing a family and career and education was so much for me. Now I'm excited to be able to go back and pursue those passions. And yeah, I'm very excited. So I come from a very strong faith background. My dad is a pastor. I grew up in the ministry, and growing up in the church, when I started really suffering with anxiety and depression, it really threw me, because so many times I think, but my faith should be strong enough to get me through everything, and my faith was strong enough. And honestly, I grew so much closer to the Lord during my personal struggles. And yet also reaching out and finding help is not at all a sign of weakness. And that's really one of my biggest things that I tell people that are in the church and on all faith systems, really, is that that we have been provided with this excellent help in this marriage of neurology and psychology, and that it's not something to be afraid of and intimidated by. There's just not saying anything about your faith that you need help. And that is kind of a really old, kind of even theologically outdated thought, is that that the mind and our emotions are somehow a mysterious part of who we are. Absolutely not. It's exactly who we are created to be, and to get the maximum amount of health and the benefit of that has allowed me to continue on, serve in the church more, be more available to my children as we have spiritual conversations. And honestly, it's been awesome to be able to go back to serving in worship, and in all the closeness that it's brought me back to, not only my church, the people there, but in my faith as well. God really put this in my life as a way for me to regain his purpose for my life. So yeah, I wouldn't ever shy away with it just because you're a person of faith. Embrace the miracle that God has put in your life. Anyone dealing with depression, anxiety, PTSD, and those are all things I can relate to. And I can tell you that hopelessness is, that feeling of hopelessness is a lie. In the truth, where you want to operate in truth, the truth is there is hope. And so whenever you're feeling overwhelmed with hopelessness, recognize it for what it is. It's a lie. There is hope, and I can reach out and I can find help. And I have recommended TMS in my psychiatry to so many people, and they're excited. Just the hope in their eyes, even just while I'm telling them about it, is exciting to me, because when you're in the darkest days of it, it is hard to see past the next day. It really is. And when you can see beyond that and see hope instead of beyond that and see nothing but despair, nothing to look forward to, it can be a really discouraging place to be. So make that first step is my number one recommendation. That's what got me out of it. It was just that first step, the first phone call. What can I do to manage this? And honestly, that's all I wanted was, how do I live my life like this? And as I began to realize you can live your life without it, those are two totally different things. Before TMS, I was managing my life with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Now, after TMS and with counseling, I can live without it at all. I don't have to manage it. It's no longer a burden for me. And that is the hope that is the truth, and that's the hope. And if I ever experience another traumatic time in my life, if my children struggle with anxiety and depression, I don't have to worry that they're going to have to go through everything I went through. I can start them right here at the place that was the end of that journey for me. So this is always a place I can go to, and that I can bring my loved ones to help them overcome this feeling of hopelessness that they have.